So we're going to do a little different video today. We belong to a Facebook group page called Allen Edmonds Enthusiasts, and some of the members got the crazy idea of reaching out to Allen Edmonds to celebrate the 100-year anniversary. And Allen Edmonds was gracious enough to host a party for approximately 50 members. So that's what this weekend is about. Basically, I packed up and traveled to Wisconsin to the show, to the party, I should say. Now, in the beginning, we are starting off at the Shoe Bank, which is a store right next to the Allen Edmonds factory, and they sell factory seconds. F2 is what they're called. Factory seconds have minor defects, and they lower the price, and they sell them at a discount. Majority of the defects are very small, and sometimes you can't tell. Yes, there are some that are a little bit bigger issues, but majority of the time, it's an awesome place to buy some nice shoes at a discounted price. All right, I hope you all enjoy the video.
Yeah, 1100. I could have got like somewhere in the 570. When you hit 1,000, it's gonna be. Yeah. Excuse me, something here.
Look at the size here.
We run them on rag wheels, horse-hide wheels, and they're going to just shine up using creams and oils and such. Okay. That's what we do. Ray is working on regular production, so if you want to see that. Okay.
Free labor market. Free labor. Yeah. Yeah, jump in if you want. What do you think?
How long have you owned this? Today, about an hour.
Gentlemen, say hello.
About an hour.
Hey.
Introduce yourselves.
Jeff Frankfort, Pompano Beach, Florida.
Dinesh Kaur, California.
Preston Soto, San Diego.
Cool.
Glenn Nakata, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Awesome.
Michael Chen, Boston, Massachusetts.
All right, welcome, gentlemen. Enjoy.
What's up, boss?
Big group.
Right there, it kind of looks like a laser. It's not actually a laser. It's a reciprocating blade. So actually, it's a cutter, but basically cuts all the little pieces that the vamp and the tongue and all the little pieces of the shoe. So, are you cutting? Okay.
Anybody can stop by later. I'll get it going.
I encourage you to stop by later. Software glitch or something, but you'll see how it ends. You guys see that? That's actually really cool to see that how they do all the perfing and die cutting.
down. Wait for me. And then I do groove sky. Oh, careful. Yeah, very dangerous. I should. That just groove sky. It makes it nice.
It's pretty cool that all these pieces are just going to go together as we're walking here.
Yeah.
We're gonna send some to me.
Let it dry a little bit, and then we polish them up. That's it.
Pretty cool.
That's mine.
Thank you. She's been at this a long time. Right, Gloria? Yeah. I believe we are doing parks, right, Gloria? These are park avenues, right? Yeah. Once we start a shoe, like say in cutting, typically 2 to 3 days it's in the factory before it's in the box. So it should.
Face out of it. Don't worry. You mind? I mean, if you don't mind.
Don't mind.
Okay. You know, some people mind. You know, it's okay. Well, I have to ask. You know. Awesome.
All right, Janet, you got to refresh my memory. What's this stuff called again?
Binding.
The binding. So Janet's putting on the binding, which is around the top. It gets folded over. Actually, when you look at it. No, she's gonna be. So, yeah, my kids are busy. It's kind of fun. Yeah, now you can actually. So you remember when we brought back the Broad Street about a year or so ago, in the 3 different colors? That was like, hey, we should bring back the Broad Street, and gone right away. Yeah, gone right away. Right. Yeah. Time, we're looking at probably about 16,000 uppers sitting here, coming and going. So they get made, make more. Going up there. So yeah, as we walk by, you can see a lot of your favorite styles, maybe. Well, that's good. Oh, yeah, those are kind of on the other end.
You have to convince the
These pegs are longer, so our typically gets as well as our boots.
Crazy here, huh, Steve?
I like the sleeve.
Incredible.
We do. Those are, yeah, those, and actually, That's just a die. So they'll come up here on the cutter. Boom. There we got one. Boom. They got two.
Kind of expands the capability. Just understanding how everything works on the back end to speak correctly. So they have to know the and also, at some point, they have to inventory.
Oh, you don't want to get them dirty. Well, there's two things right there. You can always get them cleaned, I think.
Darn it.
Okay.
That was interesting, though. All right, so then what I do next, I stamp the size in it. So I take my ticket, and I make sure it's right. So it's 4809. So I turn the little dial till it says 0, 9, and the size is a 9. So there we go. Then we put it in here and stamp it. And then the 8 means it's a special makeup, so if you take it off, you know that there's something different about it.
That's a trade secret though, so
The 8?
I'm just kidding.
Okay,
Don, I have a question for you. So how much easier was it?
pull it nice and tight. Put it on here, step it down.
So this is where it's taking that heel counter and actually heating it up and forming it.
And melting it.
Melting it. That's what I talked about back there when we were putting the counters in.
When I first started, they weren't like this. It was totally different. You put them in heat. So then after it's hot, you put it on the cold machine, and we have this chart to make sure the heel height is right for that size shoe. And you make sure it's straight
Hot
up
first
and
then cold.
yep, and you make sure it's straight up and down. Don't want your heel wiggly.
That's cooling it down.
Yes, and it's making it the right form. It puts that edge on there. So then I take the right and the left, and we match them like this to make sure they're both exactly the same and no wrinkles. And then if it's like a Park Avenue or a different shoe that doesn't have this mock stitching, then we would take it and put it in this zipper. And then it puts that nice bend in there for, yep, to fit on the last. And then we take it here and we would lace it. We would lace it here and pop it in here. So that way when they pull it, it will have that same width on every shoe. And then it goes to Tony.
Pretty cool. The toes, we steam the leather a little bit, actually make it a little pliable. This is called toe lasting. This is basically where we're putting the upper right onto the left. One thing I didn't mention is when I talked about the insoles actually get stapled right through the lap. So they got to get lined up. 3 staples right on the lap. The last comes with the insole on them, like you can see right here. And then Tony actually glues the upper right to the insole itself, along that rib line. Next up, he's going to do the boom one tight, run the staples right through the rib. On the car, Steve, start finding equipment. Yeah, absolutely. There's more of them down here. Yeah.
We do it from mahogany.
Mahogany. where we set ourselves away from other shoe manufacturers. We put that 260 welt all the way around it. How do we do it? We do it with an inseamer. An inseamer here is probably one of the most skilled jobs here. We have 3 or 4 really highly skilled jobs. This is one of them. Just hold on, Kenny. Remember when I said that some of these machines actually, call it in the old days, were run by a belt? Here's another one that's got that back portion where you would run the belt up and down. They've all been converted now, but real old machine. Watch the technique. Watch how he goes around, tilts, brings back, goes around the toe. It's actually pretty impressive. We actually guide right along the welt here, or around the rib, I should say. The welt's on, it's good and snug. That too. So now everything is trimmed. Everything is get the bend where we're supposed to up here. We don't get the bend back here. A little bit more support right here. It's all these are. Kind of wood.
It's basic plywood.
That's not even plywood. I don't even know what it's. I don't know. Change. Bottom fill. We call it bottom fill. You call it cork. Everybody's favorite machine to watch. Oh yeah. It spits out the cork. We got a hot iron. Kenny spreads it out nice and even. That's probably all of them. And this is also one that we make into a double. Like this. So we'll put a install leather mid on here. Make it into a particular style. These are midsoles with wedges. Some of our just got line them up. Super important to line them up, especially if you get a day night or something like that with a design on the bottom. Sometimes if you get a pair and it's not perfectly centered, here's why. It's not as easy as it looks. I mean, it's all hand-eye coordination. You can't do the top and the bottom at the same time and know exactly where you're at. So they do the best they can, usually do a really good job at it. Once the shoes are pressed and put together with the glue, we got to get rid of the extra sole material. This is called a rough rounder. They'll trim all the extra sole off. This is the leather I'm talking about that we don't keep. This does go in the garbage because we got neoprene on it. Nobody's gonna want it. So everything is by hand. We use a 60 grit to start with to kind of get the form. stitch a hole better, last longer. If we stitch inside and groove, then we're actually like wearing it off. So grooming is like a super hard job, just to try to like keep the exact distance. I mean, you guys seen them go around. Oh yeah, just slip.
Pressure's on.
This is Goodyear stitching. Sometimes we do 5, sometimes we do 6. It depends. I don't have an answer for that. I know sometimes we do 5, sometimes 6. I really have never thought of that.
I like it. I know. 6 is very American.
Yeah. Once the heels are on and nailed, they get another bout of neoprene. A different kind of neoprene. And then all that does is it sets up again for the next process, which is put the top dip on. Top dip is basically something decorative to cover up the nails. Long and short of it. Selling them through, there's a little more room.
Park Avenue is like so cool. Oh, Fifth Avenue is like really cool. There's just one hole.
Yeah. I like this one here. The two-tones.
See the toe there.
So after the shoes are edge burnished, they sit on the racks, they dry, they wait for finishing to come and get the rack. They bring their racks down, and this is where they get burnished. This is where the highs and the lows, they get cream, different burnishing wheels. Raimundo's been doing this a long time. If you look right here, we have our different colors. And if you look, a lot of them are super close to the same. You know, our mahogany, our dark chili, our oxblood. There's not a lot of variation. That's these guys here that make that variation because they're really good at what they do.
A long story, but this event is what became of that. But neither one of us had the time or the energy to really do a lot of the planning. And so first of all, please, a round of applause for Alex, who really did this place his brains. And if it weren't for him, this work. And we had talked about having a sandwich and a few people and, saying happy birthday. What all this became, Bob and Ashley really made happen. So my sincere appreciation for this. And I didn't work as much one-on-one with Bob, but I know you did a lot of this. But I know Ashley, Alex, and I talked to him basically said, can we drop this in your lap and run with it? And she did. And I mean, I'm blown away at all the little touches, from the little interactive things to actually bringing people in. I know, Bob, you had to do a lot of work. I mean, that's what Ashley said. Yeah. And I appreciate that. But for promoting it and running with it and organizing and all that little stuff, Steve, we had a few gifts. Steve donated some of his time to make something, just to say thank you. Sorry about the feedback. So, this is for you. And that's just from us, for all you do as the 80 Insider hopes, if that was for the grassroots. That's just a thank you. My sister, who's an artist, also donated some of her work, which I had already given you because I didn't know we were going to do this now. Steve donated his time and effort to do that. So we just wanted to say thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Bob. You guys, a lot of you may not have, you don't see Bob in the forums. This is the guy who makes everything in this facility USA made, Port Washington. So thank you for everything you do. And one last thing, I know probably a lot of the things have been decided for future, but if there is a release or there is a colorway that comes back to celebrate Allen Edmonds and 100th anniversary, I'd like to see Bob's Chili come back.
And if you came through Port Washington on your way up the hill, you saw the big church on the hill. That's St. Mary's Catholic Church, and that's where I grew up, going to church and serving and doing all the little things that Catholic kids do. And that's when I got introduced to Allen Edmonds, because the priests all wore Allen Edmonds shoes. And Allen Edmonds shoes have always been a sign of two things in our community. One, that you've kind of arrived, and two, that you're important. And so when you sat there as a little boy on your knees in your gown, and Father Glass would walk past in his brand new, highly polished wingtips, you knew that he was a very important person in the community. And then, as a kid growing up, you also began to recognize everybody else who was wearing Allen Edmonds shoes. And you began to see that it's not only an important status symbol, but it's really a rite of passage for those of you who grew up here. So your first communion, you got a little pair of wingtips. For confirmation, you got a little pair of wingtips. When you graduated from high school, you got your Park Avenues. And then it just kept going on and on and on. And everyone locally recognizes the importance of it. Most of us in town don't buy shoes new anymore. We just keep bringing them back and getting them refurbished and refurbished and refurbished, because that's the amazing quality that's produced all around us and behind us. And the second thing I want to tell you about the city of Port Washington and Allen Edmonds is this plant put our town on a map in a new way. Port Washington was known for manufacturing for years and years and years, and I hope you get a chance to go downtown and enjoy our harbor and great restaurants and all the things in our community. But more importantly, Exit 100 here really started to become a place and a destination, to the point where almost all the famous people who wore Allen Edmonds shoes came to this plant, and that was the only reason to visit Port Washington, Wisconsin. So with that, I just want to thank all of you for coming to Port. I want you to remember two things about today. The men and women who work behind you are members of our community, our state, and our city. And they do amazing work. In an age where you can go on to Amazon, or you can quickly buy a pair of shoes, or go to an outlet mall, you can't always find quality. And when you come to Port Washington and you go to Allen Edmonds, as you know, because I look around and all of us have one thing in common, we're all wearing brand today. And it's really, really important to recognize that the people behind us, their livelihoods depend on their work, our loyalty, but more importantly, the quality. And to think about, when you read the history of Allen Edmonds, one simple thing that the men and women who won World War II were wearing shoes made by these people, that presidents and popes have been given these shoes, and you and I are walking in the same styles and footprints that they are. So that's an amazing thing to me. So I really, really want to thank you for coming here today. I'm going to take 2 more minutes and read the proclamation, because today, as a result of your enthusiasm, is Allen Edmonds Day and Allen Edmonds Enthusiast Day in Port Washington, which really means it's your day. So when this is over, we're all going to go to a little bar downtown called Schooners, and we're going to make it a hell of a day. All right. So real quickly here, whereas Allen Edmonds, the company was founded in 1922 in Belgium, Wisconsin by American inventor Albert W. Allen and moved to the city of Port Washington in 1985. Allen had envisioned creating a shoe unlike anything else on the market. It would consist of the first ever patented nailless as well as shankless construction. Allen's very simple brand promise was to create superior quality men's shoes made of the best leathers and created by the best craftsmen in America. And they're all behind us. And they continue to drive Allen Edmonds' brand today. Today, Allen Edmonds is the largest maker of men's luxury footwear in the U.S. with consistent operations in the United States for the past 100 years. So whereas Allen Edmonds shoes have proudly been manufactured by generations of craftsmen and women from our region and annually produce over 250,000 pairs of shoes and have made nearly 12 million pairs of shoes in the last 100 years. And whereas the city of Port Washington, Exit 100, and Allen Edmonds are synonymous to many, and whereas Allen Edmonds plays a significant role in defining and shaping our local economy by employing 135 craftsmen and women, and whereas shoes manufactured in Belgium, Lake Church, and Port Washington have been worn on the battlefields during World War II, presented to a pope, worn by presidents, marched in Olympics, worn by celebrities on the silver screen, and were considered to be a sign of accomplishment for locals. And whereas it is a rite of passage for every high school and college kid to work the annual tent sales and provide all their friends and family with a little extra discount, a lot of shoes walk out of the back of the tent here. And whereas the intoxicating smell of leather shoes being manufactured is a sign of spring in Port Washington, especially for the students who go to school over there. Now therefore, I, Theodore Knightsky IV, Mayor of Port Washington, call upon all citizens of Port Washington to observe and recognize today, April 23rd, 2022, as Allen Edmonds Appreciation Day, as recognition of Allen Edmonds' contribution to our local economy, our city's reputation, as well as for the gratitude of Allen Edmonds' commitment to our city and to quality. Ted Knightsky.
So first of all, thank you again for being here. If you haven't found the posters, we have posters for everyone. They're all on here. Sign each other. It's pretty cool. You're going to be in the shoe bank store forever. We really appreciate you being here, and feel free to join me in this happy birthday for Allen Edmonds. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Allen Edmonds. Happy birthday to you.
So Allen Edmonds gave away this poster. Okay, so, and what everybody's doing is they're going around and signing the posters, all the group, which is pretty cool.
One part up and one full. Okay, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
And then one more. 1, 2, 3. Put them on.
Great idea. That's awesome. So everybody's signing each other's posters.
Hey guys,
That's awesome.
so there's a dinner reservation at 4.
All right, where are we today?
Port Washington, Wisconsin. Allen Edmonds factory, man.
And introduce yourself.
My name is Dinesh Gore,
Cool.
California.
Southern California?
Southern California.
Awesome. You having fun?
On my birthday with the famous Bedo's Leatherworks.
Happy
Who's the
birthday,
man?
brother.
Who's
All
the
right.
man?
Enjoy.
All right, dude. Thank you, brother.
All right.
Did you bring a Nagila? No?
No.
Ariel and David Embry. These are Egyptian cotton. Oh. Long staple Egyptian. Here we go. Choose. Yes. Brandon.
One pair, that's it.
Somebody listen. The winner is Jeff Frankfurt.
And use those on those nice alligator shoes.
I can use another pair of socks.
Keep the bag and everything.
Oh
my God! Wow! My long staple Egyptian cotton. You know what they are. You can go with me at 6 if you want.
And with that, we end the video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys on the next project. Take care.